Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I love the suspense there.
Yeah, I really tried to, build up a narrative and,
Oh, I love it.
really make you feel something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how have you been, Cody? Because it's been, 2 weeks since I've spoken to you, and I feel like we need to catch up.
It's been a millennia. I know,
It's
yeah,
true.
you were out of town.
Well, yeah,
last
so
week.
I'm so glad that you all were tolerant of my substitute last week. I hope you liked her. But I want to catch up with you personally because I found out a
course.
lot of information about Roxanne last week, but I did not find out a lot of information about you, I think.
That's true. I really let Roxanne kind of take the heat on that one.
And honestly, was it worth it? You know, was that for the best? Debatable.
Was it worth it? Let me work it.
I literally was just thinking that. Shut the fuck up. Hi, welcome to Into the Twilight. Welcome to Into the Missy Elliott podcast is what I'm saying. Yeah.
God, I can't believe, why hasn't this been a Missy Elliott podcast this whole time?
The whole time. Or
We've
has
just
it,
been
these
fucking it
past
up.
2 years? I mean,
If
listen
you
back.
weave together.
No, if you listen to them
everything back in
backwards.
reverse.
That's what I'm saying. It'll all be there.
It's it's the entirety of Missy Elliott's discography.
Oh my god, I love that reference too because I can only say the first 2 lines. The rest of it is just fucking gibberish to me still. It's been 20 years and I know that I've looked
And
up
we've
the
all
lyrics.
just been guessing. All of us. Every single one of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically when I say the last couple lines, it's just like my order that I get at the local diner. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? You could just change it up every time. Maybe it's a spell.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah, maybe it evokes Roxanne. Who the fuck knows?
It's really whatever you want it to be, and I think that's the main
Honestly, I'm so glad
Missy Elliott's work.
that she's so inclusive, you know? Really just put your own narrative in there.
I love that.
Fuck me. Oh, God. Well, I'm glad to be back with you. Roxanne is locked back into her cage, a la Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire style, and we'll just never speak of her ever again if that works for everybody else.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah. Especially because, and I mean, I don't like to do callbacks to our episodes too much, but I was tripping on so much Dayquil when we talked last week, and apparently I tried to make a Roxanne-Roseanne connection, and that's just a corrections corner for me personally to admonish myself, and to not necessarily even call myself in this time, but just to call myself out and say, sorry, what was happening in that moment? Why would I ever try to reference the show?
Of you trying to be like, I've made a mistake. I've done a bad thing, and I need to correct it.
Hey, that goof, it was shit.
And I'm sorry.
It was honestly really bad.
You ever do a bit so bad that you have to publicly apologize in your podcast the next week?
Hey, you ever do a bit so bad that you just want to pretend like there's an altar in your life? What the fuck? Anyways, so thanks for all listening and sticking with it because it was a shit show. And I sort of sound fine, but I don't. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe I've said Roxanne's name too many times. Maybe she will come back from the void, you know?
Yeah.
I need to talk to you about something that's been very important and a very interesting development in the last week as I've been on my personal deathbed, dying from the plague. Apparently, Billy Burke's been doing some shit. And it has not come up in any of our Google Daily Digests, and I'm fucking suing because I can't believe that I check this every single day on our email account, and every day it's Stella Maxwell and Kristen Stewart, gal pals, as they're literally fucking on a bench in the middle of the street.
Right.
And they don't have the audacity to tell me that Billy Burke is in a new movie with Gabrielle Union that's coming out literally tomorrow. It's not. It's coming out in 2 months. But still.
That's basically tomorrow.
He plays a bad Cody, and I am struggling to handle it.
Wow.
Charlie Swan. Our Charlie Swan. Mustache and all. No, he doesn't have the mustache.
God.
I'm sorry. But that's I'm literally
maybe that's it.
You
take away the man's mustache and he's immediately evil. Which is honestly the only time that's ever happened in terms of a mustache. any other time you put on a mustache, you are automatically evil.
Yeah, but, like, you take it away, and Billy Burke, he somehow looks 10 years younger, and therefore is more dangerous. And, like, he's already a white man, so, like, listen. But then you take away the mustache, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway,
no.
I'm just saying.
That's very exciting.
I watched the trailer twice in movie theaters. Every time I get really spooked because I'm like, Charlie, stop it. You have a family.
No, you got kids.
Think of Carlisle, first of all. Like, he would not want you to be getting into hard crime. Like, that's what he's for. But second of all, like, Gabrielle Union is a bae, and she still looks 22.
She's been 22 for
Forever.
75 years at this point, and it's honestly remarkable.
I'm changing this podcast. We're talking about Gabrielle Union for the next 2 years.
I'm very on board with all of this.
This is a new podcast where we talk about Gabrielle Union and Missy Elliott solely. And if you have problems, don't.
You can really tell how much we love the work that we do, because the amount of times we just want to change our podcast entirely.
Because every week when I start talking to you, I say, welcome to Into the, and it's different every single time. Because I'm so willing to throw away Twilight at the drop of a hat at this point.
Anytime we talk about any celebrity that's not involved in Twilight, we're like, why haven't we just been talking about this for 2 years? That would have been much more fun.
I know. It would be far less painful. But alas,
Absolutely.
Those will just be Patreon-only episodes someday in the future.
Sure.
But yes, anyway, I just thought that was important to discuss with you. Thank you. Would you like to talk about current events with me?
Hell the fuck yeah, dude.
What if one of these days you just say no and we just stop the podcast 6 minutes in?
You know what?
No, I changed my mind.
It crosses my mind.
First of all, fuck off. I mean, that's fair, honestly.
You know
what?
Like,
you know what's coming, so, like...
It's fair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, could you do me the honor of talking about this first link for me, please?
My god, I would want nothing more, because...
Oh.
This is the most visually stimulating website I've ever been to in my entire life.
It is really a look, Tia.
I think this was part of... I actually don't know. But this is from GQ, because, I don't know if it was last month or, like, recently, he was the cover star of GQ, which was very jarring for me in 2018.
It was so good, though. So nice. Like, it felt
great.
like it was 10 years ago again.
Absolutely. But, so this is, like, on the same website, and it's, like, celebrity lookbook. Here's how Robert Pattinson, like, dresses like a cool guy. And then there's, like, this photo of him just wearing a hoodie.
Okay, I was literally just looking at that one, and I'm dying at the caption.
And behind him, it's, like, a splatter effect that makes it, like, with, like, an intense drop shadow. And it's like, boo, this guy is, like, on the move, and look at how cool and badass he is. Meanwhile, he's just walking in his life.
Yeah, so this photo, there's like 20 photos of him, right? And it's this guide to dressing like a badass. The one that they use at the header is from December 13th of last year. And the caption says, in a hoodie from an all-female skateboarding crew. And then in parentheses, it's just like a couple exclamation points in Los Angeles. And so I just thank you.
That's very good. I also appreciate them hyperlinking the female
I know.
Very important work being done here.
Also, I know that this is an audio medium and not a visual podcast, but my current mood is the November 15th photo where our Pats looks like he's sucking on an airhead on this red carpet, and it's very good.
Yep, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this.
Oh my god, do you remember when he had frosted tips last year?
Stop. I
can't believe we all... I need you to remember.
Hey, no. Stop. I need everyone to stop. How did we let both Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart have frosted tips in 2017? How did we let that happen?
How did we let anybody have frosted tips last year? And it just to not still be a conversation point at this given moment is all I'm saying.
I get it. But also...
Do you?
What? No, I mean, I don't get, like, why we do it, why people still do it.
I love this fucking man on the move on the photo from May 24th of last year when they're taking photos of the Cannes Festival, which, hey, remember when I had that, internal and fucking existential crisis about saying Cannes Festival? And I just, like, my brain fucking shut off?
Can I?
Listen, don't make me relive this. But he's just, like, mid-step, and I just love... Everything about this article is so important because they're not even hyperlinking you to like what he's wearing. It's just a glorified fucking article about pretty photos. Okay, I need you to look at the one from Valentine's Day of last year immediately.
Oh my god.
I can't even right now.
Excuse me?
Look at
How
this.
did we not hear about this? How did this not get sent directly to
Sesame
us?
Street. I know. We are his
but also
press
a
team.
Muppet, like
I know. What an
wearing like
crossover.
snakeskin Doc Martens and like this weird pole gelled back hair.
It's the longest coat I've ever seen in my whole life.
Absolutely. Wow.
Oh my god. So that's a gift. So thank you,
so
GQ.
much. Thank you, GQ.
Okay, this last one has an autoplay video, which is disrespectful to everybody involved. There's this woman named Susan Schamberger. She had cancer, and then she died from cancer. And there's this Press Connects place, like, they wrote an article all about her life and, like, celebrating everything. How she was a kindergarten teacher and all this badass stuff. But the reason why I wanted to share this is because in the article they have this whole subsection about her and her love of Twilight, including this photo of her with a Twilight fucking, what are those, you know, the sparkly balls that go on Christmas trees?
Ornaments?
What are those? Hey, I love teamwork. Anyway, so she's holding one of those, and I love this so much because she had one of the quotes is, "Inside Sue's room was what she called the Shrine of Twilight, made up of bookshelves and a glass case. The shrine was filled with every piece of Twilight memorabilia she could get her hands on." So this lovely, amazing person, like, she was down with the clown of Twilight, which I love a lot. Like, would take days off just to go watch the movies, all this shit. And when she was in the hospital, before she died, like, the nurses called her Mrs. Cullen, which goals, first of all, and also is very on brand. And, like, I feel like I'm looking into the future. You know what I mean? It's just, like, all of this shit. Like, I'm gonna have Twilight ornaments on my Christmas tree. You know what I mean?
As if I don't already. Yeah.
Listen, I'll never tell. You don't know. I mean,
that
tell,
is also very true.
But I don't. Hey,
damn, you should get on that.
Yeah. Also, so I switched over to the Edward Cullen soap. This is just like a fun Christmas update from the gift that Cody gave me. Yeah, just an update. Because I finished what was I using? The Jacob Black one before. And now, literally, the sparkle, Cody, I have it. I am the sparkle all the time.
I love that.
It's great. And if this is what Edward Cullen smells like, of this, like, honey lilac bullshit, listen, I don't mind it. You know?
I get it.
I get it. I understand it is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we got a question this week.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a pretty good callback, you know, to the things that we've been doing every week for 2 years now. It was, what would be in our Twilight fanfiction?
Oh my god.
Tell me everything, please, and thank you. Go. I need to shut up and stop talking so you can go, please.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's obviously...
Is
Carla
it obvious?
And Charlie.
I mean, there it is,
obviously.
yeah.
Well, fuck, no. Okay, well, yes. So it would be that, right? But it would be all of my gay ships, right? So it would be Charlie and Carlisle, and also, like, the third wheel, Billy Black, who's, like, trying to get in, but, like, is not in it. Yeah. And also, of course, Jessica.
There you go.
What's-her-face?
Lauren.
There
and
you also go. Bella trying to get a slice of that pie, but, you know, not as successful.
So, here's what I'm thinking. We want a kitschy Twilight fanfiction that's ridiculous and the bullshit.
This is gonna be campy as fuck. Like,
it's campy as fuck, right? So here's what I'm thinking.
Right.
If we're making this fanfiction together, because this is how I'm taking this question now.
Sure.
Maybe.
This is now a collaborative fanfiction.
What if we're going campy and gross, what if someone goes across the way, like, maybe in Carlisle's, like, secret library stash, he has, like, ancient aphrodisiac, and it accidentally gets, like, spilt. And then everybody in the town just starts, like, finally confessing their loves.
Wow.
And that's how it happens, because then you can flip from multiple perspectives.
Sure,
and get all of your ships in one.
I think we've crafted it. I think
that's it, right? So,
out of all the research that we've done unintentionally,
accidentally,
we now know how to make the perfect fanfiction.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, if you just put all of the words I've said at the end of our podcast for the past 2 years together, it could probably make some sort of nice fan fiction.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel like that's a good work for somebody in their life.
And it's also, like, not even like it's too late, right? Like, people are still doing this. So we could just, like, we could have our 2 seconds of fame, like, in the fanfiction world right now.
I'm not fucking kidding. I had to look up a fanfiction today, and there was one posted like 2 hours ago. Like, I somehow am not realizing it, but like another version of me is writing fanfiction as we're speaking right now.
Yeah.
It's still occurring. There are people keeping these sites alive with Twilight fanfiction.
Oh my god.
I love the fact that this podcast has allowed me to read fanfiction and like make up for the time that in my middle school life I never did.
Yeah, I still can't believe that. That's crazy.
I mean, one, can you imagine like me on my living room den computer, my fucking Dell like computer, trying to look up fan fiction on dial-up internet? My mom would have been
Yes.
like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I know that's what all of y'all did, but I already had enough shame in my life, so now I just make up for it by repenting every week by reading fan fiction. I don't know what the fuck's going on. God. Okay, would you like to talk about the end of Life and Death with me, please? And
Boy, would I.
Boy, that's all I have to say.
Boy, howdy.
These last 12 chapters were, were interesting. So, even though, like, I read it multiple times, I still needed to keep refreshing and, like, looking over at that character chart.
Always. Constantly.
I'm always like, who the fuck is who? Like,
what is your name?
I know Archie is Alice, but, like, is Archie Alice? You know what I mean? Like, who is Archie? Let's talk about Riverdale.
Where's Jughead?
You know what? See, you get it. You understand. I've never watched that show.
You're better off.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. It gets bad real fast.
That is also what I have heard. So, anyways, I want to know your initial thoughts about Life and Death, Part 2.
Man. I mean, because, like, the first part was basically identical, right? It was just like...
Yes, it's just like, Twilight over again.
Right. Like, I know what's happening. Like, it's like, oh, it's a cool, like, refreshing, like, part of, like, oh, I remember this. This was fun or whatever.
Exactly.
But the last fucking half was like, ah, shit. Let's just fucking change everything. And, like, I get it,
it's
right?
All
because
different. Yeah.
Because Stephanie's, like, she knows that she doesn't have 4 extra books to play with, you know, to, like, expand this whole, like, weird fucking universe that she's created for this 10-year anniversary thing. So she's like, let me just, like, tie as many ends as I can at the end of this book.
Yes.
And make it, like, its own story and hope it just, like, plays out. Which, like, probably makes the most amount of sense. But it's still very jarring to, like, read and be like, what? That's how you decided it to happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about in these last 12 chapters, but I mean, the main difference here, other than the fact that it's just Twilight, literally reimagined, just like it says on the cover, are those, it's like the last, like, 2 or 3 chapters, but particularly, like, the last chapter and then the fucking epilogue, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when things get buck wild and are completely different than Twilight, where Stephanie is just like, I mean, fuck it. Let's just change it all.
Why not?
I do have to say, though, that, like, having to read Joss...
Oh, my God.
...multiple times, other than James, I couldn't take him seriously. I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe this Hollister model is coming after Beau.
Right, like, it's supposed to be, like, a super intimidating, like, scary dude, you know? Joss is the opposite of that.
Yeah. It's either, when I think of Joss, I think of 2 things, right? I think of either this, like, Hollister model that, like, injects protein shakes into his veins, or it's literally Joss Whedon in this book who's chasing after poor Beau and trying to make him become a vampire. Now, here's the thing that we need to spend 3 hours discussing. Is Joss Whedon a vampire?
Damn.
All I'm saying is that the media points to maybe. I just shook my 8-ball, and it says,
I would...
So...
Okay, first of all, does your Magic 8-ball do the Tim Allen, like, home improvement groan? What is happening?
Does. I'm so glad you asked. I got a special edition of my 8-ball on Etsy, specifically the home improvement themed. I'm so glad that you asked. Yes.
But also, if I were a Magic 8-ball, I would absolutely be one that says the media points to blank. Like, that is...
Literally.
That is me. That is me.
Yeah, you would be the most indecisive Magic 8-ball. Mine would literally be 2 things. It would say absolutely or fuck no. And yours would just be like 3 answers of like, I don't know.
Like, it depends on the situation.
What does your heart feel?
Right, let's think about this. Let's contextualize this a little bit, shall we?
What do the stars say?
Let's look at the theory, shall we? Let's
Oh
play
my
out all
God.
these different scenarios in our heads and then never act upon them.
I hated Magic 8 Balls as a kid, specifically for that reason.
Oh
Because,
my
you
gosh.
shake them, right? And it's like, once you shake it, like, you know the answer of what you want to get out of it. And
Sure.
so it was just so infuriating of being like, ugh, I just wanted to tell me what answer I want. It was like playing MASH and, like, having to cheat. And it's like, I know exactly what I want to get out of this. Why am I having to go through all this effort?
I can't. You cheated at MASH?
You didn't cheat at MASH?
Oh my god.
First of all.
No, you first of all. Get out.
No, you.
I started
know?
this.
Oh, God. Coughing at my lungs because I'm so surprised that you never cheated at MASH.
I can't believe you, who loves the fates and the stars and the fucking cosmos, well, like, just rigged the system of this fun game.
Listen, I would play MASH at home alone because I'm an only child who was a latchkey kid, right? Let's not get into it. I figured out how many times I would need to do it, how many times I could convincingly say, oh yeah, just say stop at this point so I could get that many notches. And then I would rig the system to get exactly what I wanted. So Cameron, from 2nd grade, would fall in love with me and we would live in a beach house, is all I'm trying to say. Now, did it happen? Obviously not.
Listen, I would judge you,
he's a
but I...
Republican, but-
Oh my god.
Anyways.
I would judge you, but I learned how to count cards very easily and also accidentally.
Okay,
so
then what?
like...
You're giving me shit on MASH, which is so innocuous, and you're over here
Absolutely.
being like fucking Dealer McGee, who's counting cards and switching shit. Don't even come for me.
Listen, I didn't realize
That's such a
I was
valuable
doing
talent,
it,
though.
and then I also realized that I didn't know how to do it without knowing it, because I was like, oh, this makes the most amount of sense, like, I should be able to, like, figure it out, and then I couldn't turn that part of my brain off, and so I can't play cards with people anymore, because it's just bad. I just cheat, unintentionally.
I think the problem is that I was an only child who had imaginary friends, and so I thought that I was playing by the rules, but in reality, I was just learning how to cheat really well at games. Like,
Yeah.
Mancala, don't
Oh
even
my
come for me. Like, I played that game by myself all the time. And it was like that fucking Jerry's Game Pixar short where the guy is just, like, switching the
Fuck.
fucking chessboard on the other
Yeah.
side. That was me my whole life, just, like, playing fucking Monopoly with myself. Low-key figuring out ways to, like, cheat the system and beat everybody while
my
keeping
God.
an innocent face on myself. All I'm saying is, like, maybe I have some psychopathic tendencies, but, like, it's fine. I think that's how all only children are. What the fuck were we talking about? How did we sidebar nation this so bad? Oh, okay. Is Joss Whedon a vampire?
Fuck.
Give me the concrete answer that I can cut this out and put it on all of the news. I can send this to BuzzFeed.
Oh my god. I don't have the answers.
All I'm saying is yes.
Okay.
And that's all I'm saying.
that's
I'm not saying anything, but all I'm saying is yes. So, but like I'm not saying anything, you know?
Fucking Gemini. I'm not saying anything, but what I am saying.
Don't come for me in my Gemini ways. It's not the time.
Listen, you just come for yourself always, and I pointed
this
out.
This would be a really good introduction to our Adam and Eve sponsorship if we had one. However,
Damn it.
that might
Shit.
need to wait until season 2. So,
Hey.
in addition to Joss, by the way, I love that like the other names like didn't really change. Like Laurent is now Lauren, right?
Right.
Victoria is now Victor, right? Like those are like
Sure.
logical leaps.
Makes sense.
And then we had fucking James, who's just Joss. Sorry? I don't understand.
Why?
I want to talk to you really quick, though, about the ending here, right? So it's all basically the same, of Joss being like, let me nom down on that arm, and Beau's like, meh. But instead of where it happens in Twilight, of Edward, like, being able to suck the venom out, and it's all, like, grossly sexual, as, like, Arpass is, like, playing in the background, fucking Edith is like, I tried, but then, like, Beau becomes a vampire. Like, he chooses it.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. All I can think about is, like, how much that, like, explains the fucking... I just love that, like, Stephanie Meyer is all like, oh, yeah, I definitely didn't change anything. It's just the names that are different. I definitely didn't change this for, like, gender dynamics. But then, like, fucking Beau gets a choice here. And,
Right,
like,
yeah, Beau gets
granted-
agency, believe it or not.
Yeah, like, what do you know? Shockingly. And, like, granted, Bella, like, chose her path at
right.
the end, right? But, like, she didn't act, like, she was literally dying, and Edward was like, well, let me just fucking stab you with this needle of my venom.
And also, Bella wanted to be a vampire from the fucking get-go, and nobody would let her. She had
Nobody
to wait
listened to her.
until a fucking demon baby was eating her alive, and that was the literal only way she would survive. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
she's been asking for this since the book 1!
Yes. So, here's what I'm saying. How do you think that this would have been different if this had been Bella's situation, right? If Edward had been like, I tried to get it out, but there's too much venom there, like, you're a vampire now.
Right.
How do you feel like the series would have been different?
Well, that changes everything, right? Because it's like...
Yes.
Because even at that point in Twilight, like, we haven't established anything with Jacob, for the most part.
I know.
We haven't established anything, which is why I think the ending with Jules is a way of Steph kind of tying all the knots at the end as well.
Yes.
Like, and it's really interesting. But it's like, there's so many things that if it were to end at Twilight, or like, I guess the vampire part end at Twilight, it's like, there's so many things that don't get explored, or so many things that will be different.
Right. I feel like it would have been a fine one-off, right?
Yeah, right.
Because it's like, it would have been Bella expressing her agency, Bella getting what she wanted.
Right.
In
For
a roundabout
goddamn
way.
once.
I know. Like, she still would have been injured, which, like, sucks. But she became a vampire, so, like, it all was fixed, and, like, it's fine.
Right.
But then we wouldn't have had to deal with, like, Bella having to choose, like, you know, but not really choosing. Because, like, it was just Jacob being like, hey, I'm here. Look at my dick. And it's like, Jacob, you're 14. Like, please stop that.
Please stop.
Please stop just, like, undressing in front of all of the swans to, like, become a wolf. It's weird. I don't know. I just thought that it was... I mean, it makes sense in this case because Stephanie only gets one book and, like, it's been 10 years and, like, I'm going to revise everything. But also, it was just annoying that it's like, oh, great. So Bo gets agency and nobody listened to Bella.
Great.
Cool.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, I love that. Within that context, though, so when Bo changes, I thought that it was really interesting that he's, like, bombarded with all of the vampire rules.
Yeah. It's like, here's all of the history and lore right now in, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah. Because for Bella, like, it came at a much more natural pace, right? But for Bo, it was like, hey, so you just changed. This is super wild. Let me give you all the download on everything that's happened.
Right.
And it just felt a little unnatural in a supernatural context, I guess.
Hey. But, like, and the thing is, like, with Bella and Edward, it was like their relationship obviously lasted a much longer period of time before she was a vampire, right?
Yes.
And so, like, she got to know about all the vampire shit very gradually and, like, with time and, like, with meeting all these vampires and, like, all these things. But, like, God, just thinking about, like, Bella and Edward's relationship at the end of book 1, like, it's like nothing. Like,
And
nothing has happened between them, and, like, they don't really know anything about each other for the most part.
They know nothing about each other. Nothing has happened. And they have absolutely no skills in communicating. And so it's like,
well,
okay, so now you want to just make your, like, now everybody in this situation is immortal, and we're just going to deal with the fact that you guys have not created a communication system within your relationship. Cool.
Right.
So glad that that's happening.
This is it forever, right? Like, great.
Well, because at this point, like, Bo and Edith are still at their fucking honeymoon stage of their relationship, and Bo's still looking at Edith like, oh my god, I love my tank wife. And nothing has happened between them yet. They haven't had to go through any conflict other than the fact that, like, Joss just tried to, like, break Bo in half.
Yeah.
Which, like, to be fair, that's a conflict. But they still weren't necessarily being able to communicate during that time. Because Edith still does the thing of, like, let's run away. And Bo's like, sorry? I have family here. Ooh. So it's, like, not a thing.
Right.
They're still, like, super kitschy. But I wanted to talk a little bit more, too, about the fucking epilogue. Because that's, like, when shit happens.
Yeah. Oddly enough.
I know. Literally the last second, Stephanie's like, oh, hey, by the way, Bo's, like, quote-unquote dead, right? So at the epilogue, they're all, like, he's just, like, watching this happen. And I feel so bad because I love the idea that, one, like, Bo didn't go to the actual funeral, which was inside the church. He's just going to, like, the graveside service. And so we're watching this, like, hearse come out, and Bo's just, like, blushing, if he could blush still, about all of this, because he's like, this is so much money, which is such a Virgo thing to do, God. Anyway, I just think that it's super wild that, like, Stephanie goes into this whole thing about how they got, like, a fake body to put there. Like, I don't know. it's just a lot.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I wanted to talk about, though, like, I feel so bad for Charlie in this story. And Renee and fucking Phil. Because they're, like, literally having a funeral service for Beau. And he's not dead.
Yeah.
And it's such a bummer because at least, like, in Bella's story, she gets to keep Charlie around in her life. And that's a super important part of, like, not only her being able to have something that's her own, but kind of providing some aspect of normalcy. And so I feel like it would be super traumatic for anybody, but especially like a 17-year-old to just like watch their like death like that. Like, how do you just not? Yeah, that's super traumatic. So I felt really bad about all of that. But I wanted to talk to you about the fucking engagement that happens. Because what? It's wild. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Steph just really tying every knot she can in this, like, 400 pages.
Well, yeah, because
this has to be a conclusive thing. Everything's done. It's packaged up in a nice little bow.
In very Edward fashion, right? This whole time, especially during the change with Beau, Edith has been, like, beating herself up for all this. She's doing the whole, like, meh, I didn't want this for you. You deserve so much better. Meh, meh, meh.
Me.
And, like, it fits Edward's character so much more than it does Edith's.
Right.
Which is so wild, but anyway. And then they just start, like, talking to each other about shit. And then all of a sudden, Beau says shit about, like, oh, yeah, marriage. And then Edith looks over, like, was that a proposal? And this is how bad their communication skills are at this time, right?
God.
Like, nothing is happening that's in a clear way.
They don't know anything about each other, and they don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And this is it forever. This is the...
Literally
and not
forever.
that Bella and Edward know how to talk to each other, because they don't.
No,
but
they
also,
don't. But I mean, at least
they
they've
gone
had a
through,
little bit more time.
like, trials in the relationship, and they've gone through, like, some serious shit, and they kind of know something. So it's like...
Fuck. It's literally so bad because, okay, so Beau says, wow, I'm super flattered, and it's Stephanie, so there's like a million ellipses during this point. And Beau's like, you would really marry me, Edith? And then she asks, is that a proposal? And fucking Beau is like, sure it is.
Oh my God.
Who says that? Who does that?
What proposal? Whose man's?
Sure, man. Like, let's just fucking do the damn thing and get married.
You know what? Now that you mention it, let's just fucking go. Let's go to Vegas right now.
I mean,
let's
I
drive.
was joking before when I said a proposal, but, like, sure. Now I'm serious. Yeah, actually.
Now I really want this.
God damn it, Beau. God.
Edith.
I mean, I know that, like, every time you stare at Edith, you're just, like, amazed by your tank wife. But, like, she's not your tank wife
I get
yet.
It. No. You don't get to call her your tank wife yet.
No. God damn it. Anyways, but they still do this gross stuff, right? Because it's still Stephanie. And so she's always like, you're the life I choose. And, like, it feels like my life had never had a point until I found you. And all I can imagine is, like, me reading this 3 years ago and being like, romance. Which is so embarrassing. But, I mean, it's true. So it's probably important to talk about.
I guess.
It's so much easier to make fun of myself when I was in middle school, but, like, I read this in college, so...
Yeah. This was very recent.
That was 3 years ago, so yikes. But yeah, so you mentioned the end before, like, with Jules. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Go ahead.
So, like, thank you so much, actually.
Hey, you're welcome.
I get on my soapbox. First of all, I love Jules. Let the record show I love Jules always.
Jules for always.
Jules POV forever.
Literally, please.
But, like, the thing is, like, it's not a love triangle, right? Because, like, even at the end of Twilight, like, Jacob's like, hi, I'm here, and then that's it. Like, we don't really get anything until New Moon, obviously. But in this one, it's, like, the same thing, because it's just, we're cutting everything at the end right there, and that's it. So there's no, like, weird will they, won't they, like, what? Or, like, weird thing. It's like, no, we're good. It's whatever. And then there's, like, wolf shit. Right.
There's a lot of wolf shit.
So we find out that Jules is a vampire in Twilight, which...
Now, hold on.
Or, not in Twilight, sorry. In the first Life and Death.
Do we find out that Jules is a vampire, Cody?
Fuck. That was everything. Every part of that sentence was wrong. Literally every word of that was wrong.
Yes. Try again, please. But I want
find out
that
that Jules is a werewolf.
There you go.
In Life and Death.
There you go.
Which we don't find out about Jacob Black at the end of Twilight. which is what I was trying to say. I just put both those sentences in one. In the wrong order. Got it into, baby. So yeah, and that's important, right? Because, like, we don't really find out about a lot of the wolf shit. I mean, like we do with, like, the weird lores and legends at La Push, but, like, we don't get, like, concrete, like, wolf shit, let's go.
Yes.
And then there's, like, treaty shit, because Bo obviously got turned, and then they were like, hey, motherfucker, why are you doing that? You can't do that. That's the one rule we got.
Bonnie
what are you doing?
Pissed.
Yeah. Yes. As she should be.
Understandably so, yeah.
Of course. Bonnie deserves the world.
And I think more than anything, I think Bonnie is just confused. Like, wait, you chose this? Why?
Why? Gross.
Just, like, fucking Bonnie is just, like, goes on their soapbox and just, like, king shames the shit out of Bo. Like, I can't believe.
God.
Yeah, so it's, like, a whole thing. It's, like, basically New Moon and Eclipse in, like, 10 pages.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But, yeah, so they, like, settle it to the point that they can. And then, in typical Stephanie fashion, the end of the epilogue is she uses forever still. Like, she keeps that the same of, like, oh, I guess that now that everything's fine, like, we can just stay here forever. And it's, like, forever. And it's, like, fuck, Stephanie, shut up.
But she's like, hey, but this time it really is forever.
But this time...
I'm Stephanie Meyer.
Hi, everyone. And
thank you for reading my book.
Stephanie Meyer just, like, fucking pops up on there. It's, like, a fucking pop-up ad. Like, hi, I'm Stephanie Meyer. So glad that you read my novel. I mean it when I say forever. You are contractually obligated at this point. The fucked up thing,
fucking Stephanie Meyer is the fucking paperclip. Like, the Microsoft paperclip. It's like, hi,
oh my god.
I just wanted to make sure that you know that I know that you're reading my book. Would you like some help with reading this? Do you want me to tell you what I wanted to tell you? Let's go.
Cody, this changes everything. Oh my god. But it makes so much sense.
It does.
Oh, all the puzzle pieces in my head are clicking together. Now all I can imagine is her as the fucking paperclip when you're, like, trying to type something out in Word or, like, on your Google Docs, and you're trying to write something that's, like, sort of romantic in a story, and she's like, but did you mean that they should be together forever? Did you mean that they stared at each other's eyes for 45 seconds straight? I think you should add some more ellipses here.
Hi, did you want to add an adverb here? I feel like you would benefit from an adverb. Do you want ellipses?
I don't know if there's enough italics in what you're writing right now.
How about, what if, hear me out, we just change the font just in the middle of this text.
Oh my god. What if you include some handwritten notes? That way you can change the font again in the middle.
What if God was one of us?
Shut the fuck up, Cody. Honestly, who's bad now? You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Listen, if you're gonna fucking throw all the bad shit in here, then I'm gonna do it too.
Mine had a progression. I transitioned into it. You just throw in who's bad any chance you can.
Listen, Roxanne didn't do it,
works.
So
oh my god.
Somebody's gotta do it. Okay, we need to take a second and talk about the ships here because
please.
Tumblr is massive on the ships here, and so I feel like it's really important to talk about. Obviously, the straights still like listen, love Edward
sorry,
and Bella.
I'm allergic.
I know, I should have warned you, I'm so sorry. And Bo and Edith. However, a lot of Tumblr loves Bo and Edward and Edith and Bella. Discuss.
Hell yeah, huge fan.
Okay, thank you. That's, yeah. There's so much good fan art about this. And I feel like, can we talk about these fucking two tank wives matching up against the world? Nothing would have gone wrong. I'm just saying. I want you to keep in all of those groans, please. That was very important to my audio experience, and I feel like it will be important to other people's audio experience.
It's like, you actually can't edit that out. It's illegal. I won't let you.
Yep. Now, just imagine. Just think about it. Just think about it, you know? And then just think about a little soft, blushy Bo with Edward.
Oh.
And just, like, how pure that is.
I love that.
I love that so much.
I love it a lot.
Oh, God. And just Edward being like, so anyway, here's Wonderwall. And Bo just, like, dying. Because you know Bo loves Wonderwall.
You know.
You know. We all know. Listen.
We all know. Come on. Look at him.
Hey.
You see this boy? This scraggly boy?
Have you seen this brown-haired, fucking blue-eyed, blushy boy?
This moppy-haired boy.
This fucking Trips Flat Stanley McGee of a man. Oh my god. It's so bad.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And then fucking Edith, our beautiful tank wife, and
Beautiful.
just taking care of Bella, and Bella taking care of Edith. Oh my god.
Just two tanks.
Now, listen. Think about this. Double date. Edith, Bella, Lauren, Jessica.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
I think you just broke my headphones and I love it.
I'm already, like, did you see, like, how much more fun I'm having? Just from the sheer mention of us playing in this space where they're gay.
I know, you definitely love this space a lot more.
This would have been so much more fun.
I love that idea a lot more, personally.
It's so much better.
Yes.
Ugh.
Just, hey, Stephanie, paperclip that shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Hey, I know you wrote this to be straight, but did you really want it to be straight? Are you sure?
Did you?
Are you sure?
The one thing that I want to talk about, though, before we end this discussion on life and death forever, is Royal's story.
Yeah.
So, in Eclipse, Edward tells Rosalie's story to Bella. And then, obviously, in the movie, like, it's very good, and how it's visualized. But then, in this, in the fucking end, when Bill becomes a vampire, Royal, like, tells his own story. I was curious what your thoughts were on, like, the differences between those two. Because, I don't know, I felt like, in that case, I felt kind of weird and contrived that Stephanie was like, oh yeah, I was totally dating this girl, and then she had another man come and kill me. Meh.
Right. It's just like, it's a false equivalency, right? Like,
Exactly.
It's not something you could easily gender swap and it still be the same, right?
Unless you just, like, continued the fact of, like, a sexual assault in there.
Right. And
Which,
even
like,
that could have been a really interesting and important take to have on it, right? To be like, hey,
Exactly.
this could also happen to a dude vampire who's, like, similar to Rosalie being, like, really affluent and really, like, all these things, and still be, like, victimized in some way. Would have been really interesting and would have been probably the smart way to do this.
But instead,
However,
it just got so weird.
It just seemed very, like, oh man, my, like, jealous girlfriend, or, like, this like, crazy girl. Like, I feel like in Rosalie's, she was seen as, like championing over, like, something, like, an injustice or whatever.
Yes.
Roy was kind of like, something really inconvenient happened, and it was all the fault of, like, some, like, dumb girl or whatever that he was with, and, like, who just was, like, mad and jealous or whatever, and then had someone kill him. It doesn't equate, right? It's like, it's
Yeah,
just,
it was weird.
Like, it's not that deep. It's not,
Hey, listen.
hey!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just thought that it was important to talk about that, because obviously, like, we discussed Rosalie's discussion of her assault and, like, her death in such detail, and then it just felt like a weird thing for Stephanie just to throw in and just not do it justice.
How could I possibly write Rosalie's story for a dude? I wonder.
What
if I just, hear me out, what if I just make it some girl, but send someone to kill her?
It was so weird.
The same, right?
Yeah.
It's the same.
But overall, what are your feelings about life and death?
I think it was a fun time.
Oh.
I think it was a fun little, like, vacation away from Twilight, but also in Twilight. It's also a nice revisiting of Twilight, right?
Yeah, of course. It's not very often that I get you to say fun on this podcast.
Yeah, take it in. Let it simmer. We probably won't hear it for a while after this.
For a while.
But yeah, I think it was interesting. I think, I kind of expected a lot of the things that ended up me having problems with, just because
it's Stephanie.
The way that... Right, yes. And Stephanie, and the way that she thought she was doing things and the reasons that she thought she was doing things didn't really line up with what she was actually doing, and her being like, wow, none of these changes were because, like, they're different genders. It's the same story and whatever. But, like, you still get biases and you still get, like, preconceived notions of these characters because of how you write them and how you view them differently because they are now different genders. Yeah. But I think it was fun. Those fucking names, though. Goddamn.
Yeah, it's so much.
Yeah. Too much. I shouldn't have to look through a thesaurus to read your book and understand it.
Okay, seriously. That's what I'm saying. Yes. So Life and Death, it's a wild ride. I would say... Stop it. But I do think that it was nice to be able to kind of wrap up the saga that way. Yeah. For sure.
I like it as like a nice little love letter, I guess, to Twilight, right?
Yeah. I think so, too.
You can tell she just wanted a way to get back in there.
Oh my god. Yeah. Any excuse, right?
Please, anything. I need this.
She does. She needs that good money. Speaking of that, next week we are not reading. Instead, stay tuned for a special announcement. So that should be fun. We'll be telling more about that later on.
Ow!
No, thank you so much for howling at the moon.
I am Jules. I'm calling Jules.
Fuck, man. I love Jules so much.
Me too. More Jules 2018.
Speaking of Jules Black, let's talk about our amazing patrons who I am pulling up Reductress right now.
Oh, fuck.
So
my fingers have never typed something so fast.
I know, seriously. Okay, so thank you to Rachel Black, whose article on Reductress this week is inspiring. This woman is saving all the good bags. Good work, Donica.
Thank you. Jessica Stanley, also known as... woman who's not into drama, currently nurturing 8 unrelated grudges.
Oh my god. Okay, thank you to Katie Weber, otherwise known as How to Stop Procrastinating After You Deal with Each and Every Blackhead.
Thank you to Rachel Yorkie, our fucking queen among
queens.
Oh
my god. God amongst men.
With that fat donation. Also known as Meet the American Girl Doll, who wants to make sure Addie knows how woke she is.
Oh my god. And thank you to Shannon Clearwater, otherwise known as Woman Listening to Sad Music While She's Already Sad to Be Sadder. Which is such a fucking... Oh my god. I love Reductress so much.
Thank you.
So thank you all very much. Okay, so Cody,
yeah,
my fanfiction for you this week should have been a Taylor Brown Browntown TM fanfiction. However, fanfiction.net is down, ? Someone finally let that place go to the hellhole it deserves.
Thank God. We flew too close to the sun.
Honestly.
We just got taken away.
So I needed to do my own work to be able to provide a fanfiction for you this week. So I found one titled Victoria's Secret, and it's written by Verity. It was published in June of 2008. The reason why I wanted to read this one for you is here are some of the highlighted tags on Archive of Our Own for this. So Edward : Bella : Alice : Victoria, humor, graphic depictions of sparkle and satire.
Oh, wow. That's it. That's it.
Okay,
that's
so that's what I'm saying. And the summary is Alice knows the plan. Bella wants a wardrobe. Now Edward has a pressing problem. So this is from chapter 1. Oh god, I'm reading fan fiction. It's very bad. Okay. It was a Saturday, and early in the morning. When I rejoined Bella at noon, I was not surprised to find her already aware of the task at hand. You bring my girl back safely, Charlie said gruffly. Hey, remember Charlie? Of course, Chief Swan, you know how important she is to me, I reassured him, taking the car keys from Bella, who flashed Charlie her sparkling testament to my love. After sliding into the driver's seat of Bella's new Mercedes, I gently kissed the lips of the girls I adored. The touch of my marble orifice to her warm, ready one brought on a soft sigh and a prompt slump into unconsciousness. I, too, sighed with pleasure. Now Bella wouldn't complain about how fast I was driving. The nearest mall that Alice deemed acceptable was in Tukwila, just south of Seattle. Bella yawned and came to just as we were pulling into the parking lot. We're here already, she remarked, sounding surprised. It doesn't take that long, my darling lambikins, I reassured her. Especially when I'm driving. With vampire speed, I moved to open up her car door. You're such a gentleman, she cooed, as I unfastened her seatbelt. Just protecting my cargo, my sweet meat, I said, dazzling her with worshipful topaz eyes. End scene.
Wow.
My sweet meat, Cody. Who wrote
That's what I'm calling you from now on.
Don't you dare call me your sweet meat.
I'm changing your contact name. It's already done. It's done.
Okay, well then I'm calling you lambikins because that's the grossest thing I've ever had to read out loud.
Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is so forked.
Get bit? Ugh.
This is an Earbud Media production. You can follow the network on Twitter at Earbud Media. You can also follow this show at Into the Twilight almost everywhere, or check out our Tumblr at intothetwilight.show. Our wonderful artwork is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at ThorGhostHouse44 on Instagram. Our music is done by Eli Krause, who you can find at krausefilms.com. The intro and outro was done by KB__Smith on Twitter. You can follow Allie at Into Wild Places, and you can follow me at Dyke Discourse. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye!
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, what's up, John?
I just wanted to confirm that we were recording Monday.
Yes.
What are we recording for?
Oh, it's our new podcast.
Our podcast, the Strange Little People one.
Strange Little People, yeah.
Yeah, the one on Earbud Media Productions.
Mm-hmm. You can find it on YouTube. You can listen to it.
The one that we update every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, dude.
When we have new guests all the time.
Sometimes.
Most
of the time.
Yeah, and we talk about current events and stuff.
People should listen to it, right?
Yeah.
It's something cool.
I think people would like it. I mean, you don't have to, but I hope you would.
Did you put out the ad yet? The flyers?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, as we speak.
No, you're sitting down.
No, this is happening right now, as we speak.
John, why did my hand just go through you?
Oh my god.
John.
We'll talk about it next week.